Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to this conversation interview, bilingual interview that we host in here at Manifestando Tus Sueños. And I think it was a month ago, I think the last interview that we have, because this is a new series. We have everything in Espanol, in Spanish, and now we have this bilingual series conversation interview with heroes. Heroes they are doing well in the community. They doing great thing in the community, and we want to hear what they doing. And tonight we have, oh my goodness, we have a wonderful gentleman, caballero, that I know for many, many, many years. And I remember the first time that I heard about him, and I say, wow, someone that is in the city hall, because when we hear about the city hall, we think, oh my goodness, that person is there and I'm in another side. And I remember when I received a letter from the councilman David O, who was sent me a letter to a small business owner and tell me and want to learn about my businesses and me as an immigrant, as a Latina. And on top of that, he's not Hispanic like me. And I was like, wow, this gentleman have a good heart, because for me, that's what I see in the people. And then tonight we had the privilege, the honor to have in here former councilman David O. And today in this time, he's running for, or is a candidate for a mayor for Philadelphia mayor. Welcome, Mr. David O, to Manifestando Tus Sueños.
Thank you very much. Great to be on your show. And of course, I have enjoyed, knowing you, and I admire all the good work that you do.
Thank you. And I want to know the people who is in here. We have in here Bernie Duran, and they say Debbie, oh, the best. Thank you. We have in here
Thank you.
Rosaura Torres. So proud of you, Lily, and I'm so
Mm.
proud of you, my dear. Ok, tonight, esta noche estamos con David O. David O es un caballero que conozco desde hace muchísimos años, y él se interesó cuando él estaba en la alcaldía como un candidato, no, como un concejal, y él se interesó en una persona como yo con un negocio pequeño. Cuando yo recibí esa carta, porque uno piensa, los concejales están en la alcaldía, están alejados de nosotros. Sin embargo, David O no es así. Él está cerca de uno. Una carta diciendo que quería conocer más de mi negocio, de cómo me podía ayudar a mí como inmigrante. Y lo que más me sorprendió fue cuando yo dije, pero si yo soy latina y él no es latino, ¿cómo él se está interesando en una persona latina? Y de verdad que eso hizo la diferencia. ¿En qué me fijé yo en el señor David O? En su corazón. Ustedes saben que acá todo es lo que las personas que yo invito, las personas que traigo acá, son personas que están liderando desde el corazón. Y eso es lo que nuestro caballero, el señor David O, está haciendo. Él fue un concejal de Filadelfia y ahora está como candidato para la alcaldía en noviembre 7. Así que vamos a conocer más de él. Y acá tenemos también mensaje. Mira, acá dice Ana Humana, greeting Latinos for David O. Acá dice nuestro querido Dave Rodríguez, David O, and next mayor. Amen, amen, amen. Así que bueno, ahora vamos con las preguntas. We are going now with a question. We have a question we want to learn about him as a person, because we connect with people. And that's one of the things that I love about David O, that he is everywhere, all the nationalities, and that is the best thing that he's doing. So the first question is, after all the roles that you have played in your life, and then you look within yourself, please answer this question. Who is David O? Do you hear me?
We got cut off for a second, but I can read the question. After all the roles you have played in your life and you look within yourself, please answer this question,
Who is
David O.
David O?
Yeah, so I think I could say that today, after all my experiences, um, I see myself as um, a person um, who is trying to answer the call that God puts before me. Um, and I think that the most important thing that I can do in word and in deed, by my mouth and by my action, is to testify about my faith in God, and that God loves people, and that He wants all His children to do well. And that is, the role for me is to find the way to lift up the people, and they can have their own, success and relationship with God.
Oh, wow. I love that answer. Acá les vamos a explicar un poco de lo que nos está diciendo el candidato al señor David O. Y la pregunta siempre le hacemos a todas las personas en este espacio, y es, después de todos los roles que tenemos en la vida, y cuando uno dice roles es mamá, trabajadores, en el caso del concejal, ¿verdad? Ciudadanos de la vida. Después de todo eso, ¿quién es David O? Y él nos responde, yo soy una persona que está respondiendo el llamado que le hace Dios para él cumplir ese llamado, para él hacer, y él le gusta, su llamado es construir personas. Él construye personas, y eso es lo que él está haciendo, cumpliendo un llamado de ayudar a personas. Así que excelente. Y aquí tenemos también a nuestra querida Nelly Jiménez Arevalo, quien está acá. Dice, hi, Mr. David. So good to see
Hello.
you. Lily, so proud of your work. And I'm so proud of you too, my dear. Ella es una latina. She's a Latina who is
Yes.
uplifting our community. Y acá tenemos nuestro equipo que dice good evening or to a dear audience, and we also welcome a dear hero, Mr. David O, and our dear Lily Deleuze, and thank you for everyone who is connecting. Okay, now we are going to the second question, and we know as a minority in here in United States, in our area, we have challenge, and that's on the second question. As a minority, what is the most difficult thing that you have faced, and how do you manage to get ahead?
So that's an interesting question. So I think first the challenge to many minorities is to be underestimated, undervalued, and disrespected. That's unfortunately the case, and it means that the things you would like to do and who you would like to be is often very limited, and you want to have the opportunity based on your ability and your merit and your vision and your drive, but there seems to be like very unfair limitations and disadvantages. So it's not surprising, though, right? We're not surprised by that. And I think how I managed to get ahead, or how to move ahead in life, is one, to really recognize that, to know that, and not to be discouraged by it. So I understand that is there. If I didn't know that is there, I might be shocked, surprised, mystified, unprepared, but I know it's there. So I try to navigate around it, not because I want to get ahead, but because the things I want to do, I think are important. And mostly I want to see other people do well. If I'm a lawyer, I want my clients to do better. If I'm a father, I want my children to do well, and their friends and their classmates, and any other child who's not my child, who doesn't have a father. I'd like them to do well. So I think that the way to get ahead is to recognize that this exists, to plan around it, and then to not be discouraged or disappointed. We will have what is coming to us in God's plan.
Ok, la respuesta que nos ha dado es que eso es una pregunta muy interesante y que lo más importante es reconocer que nosotros, la minoría, nosotros dicen que estamos, no, es como, la palabra es como que no nos dan el valor, y nos miran como si no, lo estoy poniendo como lo que entiendo, ¿verdad? Como no traduciéndolo exacto palabra por palabra, como que el valor que tenemos la minoría, ¿verdad? Como que, oh, porque son la minoría no pueden salir adelante, o porque son la minoría no pueden esto, o porque son la minoría no pueden lo otro. Entonces, eso de vernos como que menos sería, como vernos menos, como que no podemos porque somos minoría. Y él dice, es bueno saber eso, es bueno reconocerlo, porque si no lo sabemos, que piensan que no podemos, ¿verdad? Si no sabemos, entonces nos vamos a sorprender. Es bueno saberlo. Y lo que hace él es ir por el lado, no para llegar a salir allá adelante, no, es porque él dice, si yo lo hago así, voy a ser un mejor padre o un mejor abogado, o voy a poder hacer las cosas de una manera mucho mejor, porque sé como los límites que como minoría o ya sea que se colocan, ¿verdad? Pero yo lo voy a salir adelante. Voy a salir adelante porque nosotros como minoría sí podemos. Ese es como el mensaje así general. Así que vamos acá, creo que acá hay unos mensajes. Nuestra querida Nelly. Acá hay alguien que está en LinkedIn, porque también estamos en LinkedIn. Le damos la bienvenida. Welcome en YouTube, LinkedIn y en Facebook. Dice, hola Lily, glad you are having Mr. O. Philly and the suburb need him. O sea, Filadelfia y sus alrededores lo necesitamos. Y acá dice, I love to hear Mr. O always putting God first. Bernie Durán nos dice. Así que me gustaría, I would like to know if any of you have questions. And you have questions as a community for Mr. O. And you have, even in Espanol, you can make this question in Espanol and I do the interpretation and we share in here. If you have any question, you can ask. He's here to listen and we are here to listen him. Okay. Let me ask another question. I look in here. I have English, Spanish, English, Spanish. Okay. What were the dreams you have as a child, and how did your parents and adults around you influence you who you are today?
When I was a child, there was a picture in my house. It was a picture of my cousin, and he had been murdered before I was born. He was beaten to death in 1958. And he was beaten to death by 11 African American young people, young men. And the letter from the parents basically talked about forgiveness. And what they expressed is they wanted to not only ask for lenient treatment for the 11 boys that murdered their son, but they wanted to raise money for their education and social and spiritual guidance. And what they expressed was basically the love that God has for all his children and the forgiveness, and that they felt that by setting example of forgiveness and God's love, that the death of their son would be meaningful. And on the tomb, it says to turn sorrow into Christian purpose. And as a boy, I would see that picture of him, and I would read the letter, and I would think about it, even as a child, like what does it mean? And it was very unusual. And one part of the letter said that their son, who had been murdered, he was murdered when he went to mail a letter. The city was very upset. They wanted to put the death penalty. He was a student at University of Penn. And, the race is important because, there was a Korean immigrant visiting Philadelphia, going to Penn. There was a discrimination and racism in 1958. And from this neighborhood, there were these 11 young men or young boys. And the murder was shocking. And so to look at people from another country right after the Korean War, and for them to send a letter of forgiveness, expressing really their Christian faith, their values, was very moving. And one part of the letter said that it was his dream to be a Christian statesman. And throughout my life, I didn't really see that term. What is it to be a Christian statesman? So it was my dream to be a lawyer. And my father moved into a part of Philadelphia, Southwest Philadelphia. And it very quickly was a very tough neighborhood with a lot of problems. I live there today with my wife and 4 children. And I thought as a boy that a lawyer was someone who could, because they were smart and they were trained, and they could make wrongs right. And wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to be? And eventually, I was a lawyer, and I did not plan on running for office, but I found myself, instead of really focused on my dream, I was building my financial, my financial reward, instead of, you know, taking the abilities God had given me through the different experiences. I was building my own golden calf. And I thought about what I could do, and I ended up running for office, really just to try to have a platform to explain where I think jobs come from, about education. And I ran and I lost. And 4 years later, I ran and I lost. And 4 years later, I ran and I won. And I won the next two. So, right, I lost two and I won three. But I've come to the place where I don't see a reason to run again for council. I don't think I could do anything more. But I feel that the best thing I could do is to run for mayor and give the voters a choice. That's a
Excelente.
long answer. A
Yes.
long answer.
Bueno, les voy a hacer un resumen. La pregunta fue, ¿qué sueños tenía él cuando estaba niño y cómo sus papás y sus adultos alrededor influyeron en él para lo que él es hoy en día? Y él nos contó una historia acerca, cuando él estaba niño, él encontró una carta. La carta era de unos papás que estaban dándole el perdón a 11 niños o jóvenes que mataron a un muchacho que vino de Corea después de la guerra de Corea, que estudiaba en Penn, en la Universidad de Penn, ¿verdad? Y le golpearon hasta que lo mataron. Y aún con eso, él como niño dice, wow, cómo ellos están hablando de perdón, la palabra perdón. Están diciendo que sí, en la tumba dice, sí, eso es como un sacrificio para o sea, la muerte del joven, si va a valer la pena para cambiar las cosas, pues ellos lo aceptaron. Y en vez de ellos pedir como la penalidad de muerte o algo, lo que hicieron fue empezar a recoger fondos para educación, para poder ayudar a estas personas, los muchachos eran afroamericanos, para poder ayudar a estas personas a que pues de pronto no lo hicieran más. O no solamente a ellos, sino a todas las personas. Entonces, él dice, como un niño eso le impactó. Imagínense un niño leer eso, cómo hablan del perdón, cómo hablan de que vale la pena un sacrificio y en vez de ellos querer una penalidad o hacer algo, lo que hacen es recoger fondos para prevenir eso, para prevenir que eso no ocurra más. Y él como niño, bueno, empezó a mirar cómo y se hizo después adulto y se hizo un abogado viviendo en es Southwest. El Southwest es noreste, creo. Sí, creo. Noreste de Southwest, noreste de Filadelfia. Ahí siempre ha vivido con su esposa, con sus 4 hijos, que es una zona que es, sí, de menos, digamos, favorecida o tiene situaciones en Filadelfia, como muchas zonas en Filadelfia, y él vive ahí. Y él se dio cuenta que sí, como abogado, él estaba pues ganando dinero, haciendo bien, pero dijo, no, mi propósito es más grande. Nunca pensó en que iba a lanzarse como para concejal y después cuando ya lo hizo, no ganó. 4 años después, no ganó. Y después de eso, ganó. Y ya lleva muchísimos años como un concejal en la alcaldía y dijo, ya no puedo hacer más aquí. yo siento que ya aquí cumplí mi ciclo y ahora yo voy a lanzarme como candidato para la alcaldía. Y eso es lo que él está haciendo ahora. Se lanzó para candidato de la alcaldía para ser elegido. Si usted está alineado con lo que él dice, el día 7 de noviembre, si usted está alineado, pues aquí se lo estamos presentando. Así que eso vamos. We have a question in here. Dear Nelly say, we have, what have you done specifically to help our Latino community? Y también hace la pregunta en español, ¿qué ha hecho específicamente por latinos en Filadelfia?
So, as a council person at large, I represent the whole city. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure of when I got elected is that my office would help the Latino community. And the only way I could really do that is by having someone from the Latino community who is fluent in Spanish and English, and their job would be to go out and engage with the community, find out what the community needs, and we would be able to communicate with them and try to answer what their needs are. So, by having someone in my office that they can contact, because I cannot speak Spanish, people may not be comfortable with me. I think that's the first thing. The second thing is that what does my office focus on? And so I created a committee in council that dealt with global opportunities. That means international matters. And the creative, innovative economy, which so much of what the Latino community deals with is kind of self-reliance. That means making it on your own because of a lot of limitations on other things. But there's such great potential within the community. And I think it is really undervalued. And if we could give the community the respect it should have, it would not only be good for the community, the Latino community, it would be good for the rest of Philadelphia. And so that is a lot of where my focus has been. And I have had different people in those positions, and they have come up with different ideas. And I have enjoyed working with each one of them. They bring something a little different. So it is not always the same, but depending on who is in the position. Of course, we have Anna Omana on this interview here, and she was my most recent person, and her contributions were to do the Latin American Book Fair and Latin America Thrives in Philadelphia that we did at the Love Park. But also for me to also go into the community and to go to places like Taller Puerto Ricanos and to look at not just art and music, but art and music within the community, and trying to develop trade and recognizing what each member brought. And there's also, because it's such a diverse community, people from so many different communities, and whether it's Mexico, Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Colombia, so many places, and bringing them together and trying to work together. I particularly dealt with the issues of small business because many Latinos and Latinas, they are on their own, and they don't get all the support that they should have, and so they're very independent. But it is a struggle, And so, especially for the small business, trying to bring a level of recognition in our public education system of how the community and the schools, unfortunately, many of the schools in the Latino community are very under resourced. And I feel that is one of the big problems in our city, that there's a lot of unfairness. And I've tried to level that out best I can through bills and resolutions. Um, some of what happens is particular to a section, like, in the North Philadelphia, there is Kensington Avenue, and that presents a huge problem to the Latino community there. In South Philadelphia, there's a large Mexican community, and their issues are a little different, including issues of deportation and investigation, and living with the threat over their head, and those type of issues. So in brief, those are the things that I've tried to address, and then to support each different group within the community.
Excelente. Lo voy a decir, lo que nos acaba de decir nuestro querido David O. Es que la pregunta fue, ¿qué ha hecho él? Aquí la dejé en español. ¿Qué ha hecho específicamente por latinos en Filadelfia? ¿Verdad? Porque esa es la ciudad donde él se está lanzando y él vive ahí en Southwest Philly. Y bueno, él dice, desafortunadamente la comunidad latina es la que menos recibe los recursos, es la que menos recibe la ayuda en educación. Hace la diferencia que él siempre, para poder conectar, él dice, ¿cómo voy a conectar con la comunidad? ¿Cómo voy a conectar con la comunidad latina si yo no sé hablar español? Pues él siempre se ha asegurado de tener una persona en su equipo que hablara español. La última que fue nuestra querida Ana Humana, pero desde antes, desde que yo conocí a David O, siempre él ha tenido una persona hispana ahí que sea el puente, que sea la conexión con los latinos. Uno de los, además de educación, y yo mostré una foto y él dijo, es muy diferente, voy a volver a mostrar la foto, ¿verdad? Él dijo, es muy diferente o la comunidad colombiana, la comunidad venezolana, la comunidad, acá no está, pero Brasil, él también apoya a la comunidad brasilera. Aquí en esta foto está representado Puerto Rico, Colombia, República Dominicana, diferente. Y esta es una foto de la foto grande donde habían de todos lados, o sea, diferentes nacionalidades. Las necesidades, como lo dice él, en Kensington, en el norte de Filadelfia, ¿verdad? Donde las escuelas de pronto no le dan todo a los alumnos, es muy diferente a la necesidad que tiene en South Filadelfia la comunidad mexicana, que están lidiando con deportaciones y con situaciones y tener todo ahí detrás. Él se enfoca mucho en los pequeños negocios, ayudar a los pequeños negocios. ¿Para qué? Para que a través de su negocio pues puedan salir adelante, porque vuelve y se lo repitió, son los que la comunidad hispana o latinos o hispanos somos los que menos recibimos los recursos y lo que se requiere. Voy acá, que acá hay preguntas. Another questions. Ok, primero antes de ir, acá dicen, hola David, número uno.
Wow, all right.
Y acá dicen, davido.com. Aquí está la website, davido.com, para que ustedes vayan, visiten y conozcan más. Y también Nathan dice acá, I promote Latino Business Owner on smallbizphilly.com. Y ahora tenemos una pregunta acá que Es súper importante. Safety is an issue in our city. What is your plan to address violence in our city?
So, the number one problem in Philadelphia, according to every survey and poll, is violent crime. Murder, deadly violence, gun violence, that's the biggest problem. And without solving this problem, everything else is stuck. Kids going to school, people riding public transportation, people walking outside of their homes, even when there's a little car accident, it could turn into a shooting. And then just the harassment that people face in this city. And people are very, they're very frustrated that how come the city does not seem to be able to handle crime and violent crime in a sensible, understandable manner. So what I look at is simply following the law. That may sound very simple, but let me explain why it is so important. We have laws. There's an entire process of how we got to these laws. But somebody in power, like our mayor, like our district attorney, like our city council, begins to alter the laws based on very subjective ideas. For example, someone decides that we should let people go into the store and steal up to $500 worth of items. That's not the law, but if the mayor says to the police, do not arrest someone because they stole up to $500, $400, but how do you tell when they come in? So unfortunately, that is telling people, incorrectly, but in reality, go into a store and just put things into a bag and walk out. Now, the store, especially like the franchise, they tell their employees do not confront. So the employees don't confront because they could get hurt, they could get shot, someone could sue them. But eventually those stores close. And then the people don't have the items that they need. Or, for example, in Kensington, the police are told not to arrest drug dealers. Why? Because somebody believes that it is important for drug addicted people to be able to get drugs. They can only get the drugs from drug dealers. So the police do not arrest drug dealers. They don't arrest drug addicts. They don't stop prostitutes. Why? Because drug addicted people need money to buy drugs. We end up with a very lawless place that attracts so many drug addicted people into our city, into our neighborhood called Kensington. So many people that it's not manageable. It's overcrowded and it spills onto the street. And that attracts every kind of person who is looking for sex for money in every which way. So that neighborhood is full of money going looking for women, boys, girls, juveniles, children. And with that money, they are buying drugs. And so these corners, they're nothing but corners, they can produce $250,000 a week. And the only way they keep those corners is by killing people or threatening to kill people. So many young people are tempted by the money to go into a life of crime. They end up in jail, they end up murdered, and so the whole neighborhood, the whole community has really suffered. And then we cannot help the drug addicted because there's too many of them. And so people end up living for years in Kensington on the street with mental health, physical health problems. So I tell people, I can take in 2 stray cats, feed them and take care of them. I cannot take 200 stray cats in. They will end up dead and abused. Kensington is a problem that the government has created that is a failure for everyone. It is better not to have such a place. And then over half the people will not come to Kensington, which means children can play, we can have law and order, there can be safety. Right now, the children in the summer cannot go to the library because all the drug addicted people are laid out on the lawn. It's a dangerous place. And it's unfair to the children and to the residents. The businesses can't operate. There's too many criminals, threats of murder and violence. If we would enforce the law, the majority of people coming here will stay where they are, where they have money for bed space and detox and mental and behavioral health. They don't bring that money with them to Philadelphia. And we could provide a better quality of care to those in our city who need help from their drug addiction. So enforcing the law is very important. Where does that money go? $250,000 a week. A lot of it goes into more crime. And so when the police do not enforce the law, people begin to buy guns. When you call 911 and no one answers, when people get shot at Independence Mall or on the bus or on the train, children get murdered, mothers get killed, people do not feel comfortable that the police can protect them. They begin to move out of our city. And now our revenue base is dropped. And so people's property taxes increase. The city's looking for money. They don't hire the police that we need. The police are demoralized. People feel very threatened. The bottom line is we have more guns in this city than we've ever had. And the number of people buying guns, well, a lot of them are women. A lot of women are buying guns now to protect themselves and to protect their children. So if we will enforce the law, dirt bikes and ATVs are not allowed on the street. People cannot live in a tent and defecate on your property. People cannot go into the subway system and smoke drugs. They cannot carry knives. They cannot have illegal guns. You cannot have people harassing you. That is not okay. We have to come to the point where people see police, but they also trust the police. That means better training, better equipment. And so those are the things that I tried to do as a council person that were failures. And I am a former prosecutor. I did criminal defense. I understand what the law is. And therefore, the police should always follow the law, serve the community, and with that, we will have better police. They will be proud of the work they do, and we will be able to have them increase the safety of our city.
Wow. Yo creo que me vieron mi cara, ¿verdad? Everyone saw my face when you were talking, like, oh my goodness, because it's some information that I didn't know. I didn't know. I love Philadelphia, and oh my goodness, it's sad when we drive to Kensington, and then we see that, and I don't know, maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago was an article in one of the newspaper about the businesses in that area. How so I'm going to les voy a decir a ustedes como un resumen, y es que la violencia a mano armada, ¿verdad? Es el problema más grande que tiene Filadelfia. Y David nos dice, si no se soluciona eso, el resto no va a funcionar. Porque si las personas no se sienten cómodas de ir a la calle, porque los niños no pueden ir a la librería y jugar afuera en el verano, porque hay personas drogadictas, hay personas tanto drogadictas como de eso viene la prostitución, de eso vienen que matan, la policía no responde porque hay a las leyes, él dice, hay que hacer las cosas y es aplicar la ley que ya existe. Y parece fácil, simple, ¿verdad? Pero si un alcalde dice que está bien que la persona pueda ir a un almacén y robar hasta $500, $500, y está bien que lo haga. Eso dice el alcalde, que está bien. Entonces ahí en ese almacén la persona le dicen, los dueños le dicen, no le digan nada a la persona si roba $500 porque o pueden matar a la persona o le pueden hacer algo o pueden demandarlos, acusarlos de algo. Entonces, eso no está bien. No está bien que la ley que ya existe, ¿verdad? No se aplique de la manera correcta. Dijo algo que también me sorprendió y es que las que están comprando armas son las mujeres. ¿Por qué? Porque se quieren defender, ¿verdad? A ella y a sus niños, a su familia, de los abusos, de todo lo que pasa en Filadelfia. Entonces, ese número que ha crecido y que es de mujeres, también hay una cantidad de armas ilegales que están rodando y tampoco se puede arrestar a las personas que son, no sé, vendedores de drogas, no sé, narcotraficantes, no sé cómo se le dice, pero vendedores de droga. Tampoco se puede, según porque las personas que son drogadictas necesitan droga. Entonces, prefieren que no se arresten a estas personas. Y en cada esquina hay estas personas que están proveyendo estas drogas. Y son $250,000 a la semana. ¿Y en dónde se invierten? ¿A dónde va ese dinero? Ese dinero vuelve otra vez al crimen. Y esto ya es algo que es como mi opinión. Lo veo, lo siento como si fuera un círculo vicioso. Si no se aplica la ley, ya eso es Lili la que les está hablando, eso es como algo que sentido decir. Un círculo vicioso. Si no se aplica la ley, nada podrá, vuelve a lo mismo y nunca se acabará. I just say there is something that I feel that to say. It is like a circle that never end. They never end because if you don't apply the law, never going to end. Y otra cosa que también decía es, las personas no confiamos en la policía. Y no confiamos en la policía porque han habido crímenes, han habido muchas cosas. Entonces, ¿el que planea hacer con eso? Traer y capacitar a los policías para que hagan las cosas de manera correcta, para que las personas podamos confiar en la policía en Filadelfia. Entonces, miren cómo eso es el plan que él dice general, aplicar la ley, hacer las cosas y que es justo que Kensington sea un área donde los dueños de negocio, las personas que son dueñas, no tengan que ver personas que vienen y hacen sus necesidades fecales ahí y está todo sucio o pueden tener una carpa, que todo eso se tiene que terminar si se aplica la ley. Y él pues sabe cómo aplicar la ley, porque para eso existe. Entonces, let's go. Voy a mirar. Verónica dice saludos, dice hola. Acá dice Carlos en español, dice hola. Saludos desde Colombia. Say hello from Colombia. What else is here? Acá dice Chris Christian, el alcalde O es la única persona que puede cambiar a Kensington. And in English, our David O is becoming mayor, is the only person who is going to made the change in Kensington. And in here, thank you, team. Oh my goodness. Look, and here is the page, David O. And you can go in and follow and share. And oh, and here, our dear Nelly say, thank you for answering my question. I have many more, but next time. Nelly, my dear Nelly, tomorrow is going to be a event in Philadelphia, and it's in person. It will be nice if you go there. Um, Maybe the team can go into Filatinos and find the information there, and maybe we can share in here. And also he is welcome, is open. He told me, because I asked, he's open to any community who want to ask question. He said yes, because he's open. And that's one of the things that I'm going to say. I had the honor to go to the Constitution Center, I think, the Constitution Center, the day that he say to everyone that he is going to launch his campaign as a running for mayor. And I was in tears. He didn't know, but I was in tears. I was crying. You know why I was crying? Because I saw I saw the United Nations. I saw so many people for different background, Ukraine, Brazil, a lot of people, Afro-American, people from Africa, Latinos. It was like Caucasian, musicians, business owner. I was crying. And the reason I was crying was because when the Afro-American, I don't remember his name, that he was also killed by the police. I don't remember his name. When that happened and the city was destroyed, I was here praying and doing a vision board. Imagine how Philadelphia will be a city that is not now, because I love Philadelphia. And I was playing the image and I was crying. I was praying to my God. And in the picture that I put that there was people, the same Afro-American, Latino, it was diverse. So for me, it was a manifestation to see so many humans, souls, hearts, people, families together there because they believe in him. They believe in a person who has shown to us that he care about the community, not only the Hispanic, not only the Hispanic. That was beautiful to see so many people that day. And it's why the people, the leaders, the heroes that I bring to our shows is people who is in alignment with my values and people that I believe. And I have in here, and here someone say tears. Wow, so nice. Yes, tears, because I was like, oh my goodness, he is capable to have together so many people for different background, but we had the same needs. We had the same need. Doesn't matter if we are Asians and we Latinos and we Caucasian, Afro-American. We had the same needs. The same need. Love, shelter, to be secure, to raise our family. That's what we need. To have a job, to be able to be free to go into the park. And the only way we can have that is we have someone who is a leader, true leader that believe there is a way. And And here I telling you, you had the decision. Every person in here had the decision um, to do what you think is the best for your city, for our families. And I think David O is the answer. And I have it here, Asti de Ponce say best leader is David O. And what else in here? I have please follow David O. His community support. He's a 10 bill to help our city and consistent the past 10 years. The only city council having his office safe opening during the pandemic. We have 72 straight years of Democrat mayors. Enough is enough. It's not about gender, color. It's about changing. We don't need a I don't read that. I don't read anything like it is that is against or say even as the person believe. I respect everybody's belief, but in here we talk about everything that is um the qualities of the person, and that's as we focus in here. And I would like you to share um this episode that you have lived. You were a victim of the crime. You suffer from that, but because something happened to you, they stop you. Thank God that you are alive. So you live this situation that is happened in Philadelphia. Can you share with us? I can. Oh,
You there it is. Okay, sorry. I said, do we have enough time for me to share that story? It's a little long
yes,
story.
yes.
Okay, okay.
You make it short, but
I make it short. I thought my neighbor was talking to a friend because I was going to wave to my neighbor when I came home late at night. And when I saw the person pass me, I nodded my head and he looked normal. I took all my things, so many things in my arms. And when I turned around, he was there. And I didn't understand what he's saying until I heard the word wallet. He was saying keys that he said wallet. So took a step back. By that time, he lunged forward and quickly stabbed me in my left side. And it gave me a second to put down everything that I was carrying. One of the things I was carrying was like a shopping bag, paper bag, because I had met with a delegation from the country of Georgia, and they're very proud of their wine and their art. And so they gave me a bottle of Georgian wine and some books about art. So when I put my things down in a split second, very quickly, I thought about taking the bottle and breaking it on the street and stabbing him in the face or neck. But I also thought about the letter that I told you about, forgiveness. And I had just dedicated a street where my cousin was murdered in memory of him. And I thought, what is the testimony if I stab this young man and he loses an eye or he bleeds to death? Is that a good testimony? How about if rather I just step back? Because I don't have a weapon or anything, maybe he's going to attack me some more, but I could attack him or I could just step back and maybe put my faith in God. And I did that. I cannot say I would do it again. I hope I would do it again. But anyway, that's what I did. And he kept trying to stab me for about 8 minutes. And eventually he left and I went to the hospital and, I was fine. they did surgery and all that. There's nothing after you got surgery. There's nothing for you to do but to recover. They want to keep you for a couple of weeks. They want to make sure you don't have an infection. And I was trying to get out because when I went home, two of my children saw me enter, and I think they were a little traumatized. So I wanted to get home to show them everything's okay. I was really thinking about my children's mental health. Um, and a reporter asked one of my staff, um, "Is Councilman O, is he really angry, and is he really, is he really gonna, really, get the person who stabbed him? How does he think about that?" And I said, no, I don't have any ill will. They were asking, do you have ill? I said, I have no ill will. And the newspaper said, Councilman O has no ill will, like I'm a nice guy. But actually, I didn't mean it that way. What I meant was, I have no ill will because it's inconsequential. Like, I don't even think about it. Like, this person stabbing me is so unimportant to me. Like, I stepped in chewing gum and I just wiped my foot. So I felt very bad about I felt bad about the fact that the newspaper was kind of saying like I'm a very nice, forgiving person, but that's not what I meant. So I thought about it, and I thought, you know, um, I met my neighbor. He's actually my neighbor. He lives about 10 minutes from me, 15 minutes. I met my neighbor that night. And why do we meet people? And maybe, and I don't think this way all the time. Let me just say that. It's just like that particular time I was thinking this way. Maybe God has brought me together with him to meet him, and he stabbed me. And I should not treat him like chewing gum. I should not think he's inconsequential. I should think he's consequential because um, as much as I would like to care about him, because I don't hate him, I cannot pretend to love him, but I don't have to. God loves him. God only asks me to let him know God loves him, and God would like him to be well. And that is all that God asks of me, to let him know God loves you as much as he loves me. He forgives you. He forgives me. I don't have to, and I cannot be like God, but I can let him know, right? So I thought that is important for me to start to think about him and to think more carefully about other people. Of course, that's very hard to do. We're so busy, we don't think about other. But in the moment, I just thought I should think. See, I think the challenge for all of us, and especially I would say if you're a faithful person, I should not look at you the way I look at you. I should look at you the way God looks at you. And then you would look at everyone and understand them differently, right? In other words, um, every person is so carefully made, unique, and the splitting image of God Almighty. If we saw each person that way, we would treat them much better, and we would care for them better. And I think our government is a big disappointment, to be frank. That's why I'm running for mayor. We cannot treat people the way the government treats them. We should do much better. But if you don't have that perspective, then you look at people with great indifference or great suspicion, and it's easy to take advantage or disregard or disrespect other people, the way they look, the way they sound, who they are. We see all the differences, and we see enemies, or we see people who are not like us. But if we look at them the way God looks at them, then we would see his creation, and how he wants us to treat them.
Wow. Ok. Lo que le pregunté a David es que nos contara, así en un resumen, un episodio que él vivió, ¿verdad? Sobre la violencia que se vive en Filadelfia. Y nos cuenta que afuera de su casa, tarde de la noche, él llega con bastantes paquetes en sus manos y le habían regalado una botella de vino de Georgia, que ellos son muy orgullosos de su vino y de su arte, unos libros, estaba cargado. Cuando alguien viene y, y lo ve cerca y lo saluda, el vecino, y de pronto él no entendió lo que decía, pero entendió cuando le dijo la palabra billetera. Cuando le dice la palabra billetera, así ya lo sintió cerca y lo que llamamos apuñalear, o sea, con un knife, con un cuchillo, con lo que tenía, pues lo apuñaleó y él enseguida pensó, ok, voy a coger la botella de vino, la voy a partir y lo voy a apuñalear también en el cuello o en la cara. Pero en el mismo momento él se acuerda de esa carta de la que nos habló al principio. Aquella carta, para aquellos que se acaban de conectar, que escribieron esos papás de Corea, ¿verdad? Cuando le mataron al hijo, 11 muchachos que lo mataron, y ellos en vez de pedir la pena de muerte, lo que hicieron fue perdonar. En ese momento él pensó, no lo voy a hacer, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué testimonio voy yo a dejar? ¿Qué van a decir de lo que yo estoy haciendo? Y él pensó en Dios. Él dice, en ese momento lo hice, no sé si lo puede hacer ahora, pero en ese momento yo pensé así y no le hice nada. Me llevaron al hospital, nos cuenta que dos de sus hijos, pues él se recuperó, pero dos de sus hijos vieron eso. Entonces imagínense niños pequeños viendo eso. Y él lo que piensa es, y dice y nos dice lo que siente es que si nosotros viéramos a los demás seres humanos como Dios los ve, nosotros pues no veríamos a las personas solamente pues las cosas que no hacen como que están alineadas. También nos habla de que el gobierno ojalá viera a uno como lo que uno es, como hijos de Dios, ¿verdad? Porque eso es lo que somos. Y por eso él está lanzándose o en esta campaña para ser el alcalde de Filadelfia, porque él quiere cambiar eso. Eso es como el resumen. Aquí nuestra querida Asti dice gracias por su genuine heart and support, señor David O. Y acá también dice church service at Tuesday night, Pastor Luisa Navarro send her support to David O. And tonight we heard what he say, his story, what happened. Nice question that we have in here, and we didn't plan it. I love that. I love when everything is like coming in alignment. I didn't plan anything. I want to have many pictures. I only have one because I didn't have a time today to do it, but everything happened the way God's want. And I always say that. I believe it. And it's why I trust David O. And I have a slogan each time that I share something about him, and I say, choose wise.
Mm.
Elige sabiamente. Choose wise. When November 7th, choose wise. Always we going to choose what we think, what we are, and choose wise. I'm not inviting you to vote for this or for that. Choose wise. And you believe this gentleman, este caballero, is the one, choose wise. and do it. And you will see, because we deserve the candidate that we choose. We deserve the candidate that we choose, and we choose the best. We choose what is in line with our values. We are families, and the ultimate goal that is to have a safe city, beautiful city, where everyone can walk safely, where the police and the community have a nice relationship with jobs, businesses, and everything have what we deserve. Okay. So if you have anything else to say tonight before we leave.
Well, no, I mean, it's wonderful to be on here, and I very much want to have that dialogue. If you can come by tomorrow for the Latino Town Hall, the reason it's so important to me is because the Latino community, especially in the poor areas and with the immigrants, they are not given much attention by our city and oftentimes just disregarded. Uh, and I think we have to change that and to have a grassroots. There's no plan for tomorrow. Whoever shows up, ask whatever question they want, and then we just answer the question, whatever the question is. And of course, I cannot take a lot of time to answer the questions. I know there's much more. I give a short answer. There's much more to it, but is enough to just have that dialogue. And I urge everyone, to be engaged, because if you are not there, something is missing.
Yes. And when you were talking, I was remember that David O many, many times invite Latino leaders and community to the city hall to talk about the situation in the community. And you never, that's not common. Like, you see like the council members at large, or maybe in the district, like far from you. You went to many events from different backgrounds, different communities, and also you brought the leaders to listen what they need to the city hall. And I also online on Zoom, you ask. And also you support many events that we have. You went there. I remember Latina Wellness Circle,
Yes.
the second, the third circle, but the first one in Philadelphia. You went there. You went there, and I'm a small business owner. I'm like a tiny person, and not because I feel less. No, it's not that. But compared to like big name, and you care about some um Latina or Latinos or Brazilian, you care about the small business owner, or you see us as a God see us. This is a person who needs help. If I can help, I will help. And is the reason what I believe in you, and that makes you a different person. And um and I haven't heard something before we leave. um Asti, tomorrow she have a question, but we're not going to answer in here. Maybe this question you can answer tomorrow. The rehabilitation program are no longer a focus. How do you feel about evaluating the rehabilitation center service and director management there? Because we don't have the time right now. Asti, why you didn't come and made that before? It's a good one. But you can answer, and you can say, I was last night in this. I'm Unfortunately, I cannot make it because tomorrow I going to record a podcast and that I have a schedule already, and it's why. But thank God that I got you here today,
Yeah.
and I wish you the best tomorrow. And we keep it in here. Thank you, Mr. David. Oh, don't leave me because behind the scene I'm going to take a picture. And
Okay.
thank you. Gracias, gracias a todos los que asistieron esta noche, hicieron preguntas. Mañana va a haber un town hall en español en North America. Nosotros vamos a poner la información aquí abajo para que ustedes vayan. Si las personas quieren ir, usted puede ir a hacer preguntas. Es informal. Él va a hacer las respuestas cortas, pero vayan mañana, ese town hall mañana, y escuche qué tiene que decir. Y si usted tiene pregunta, hágala, haga las preguntas. No se sienta que porque él es un candidato, él no va a escuchar, él escucha. Entonces, vaya mañana, vaya y haga preguntas, y eso es lo mejor que podemos hacer para conocer el plan de la persona. Like tomorrow, go there and ask questions, and you're going to learn what is the plan, what he think is he's going to be answer like short answer, but go there. Go there and ask questions. We deserve to know what is the plan, what he's planning to do. Is he becoming mayor? But thank you. Gracias, gracias a todos. Y les amamos. Bye. Hasta la próxima. Bye.